everyone, welcome to my very first YouTube cooking video. I'm the gringa. I just happen to know how to cook some Spanish food, not by chance, but because my husband's Guatemalan and I had the chance to live over there for 3 years. I also know how to cook other types of food, but today I decided to make one of my favorites since I did have the chance, like I said, to live over there for 3 years. I decided to show you how to make Guatemalan fried chicken. Now, I don't know if you've ever had the chance to live in Guatemala just to visit, but if you have, then I'm pretty sure you're aware of pollo campero. So I find this recipe is like pretty similar. You probably won't find a recipe that's any closer to this than the actual pollo campero recipe itself. So you can find my recipes and other ones in the link that I'll be providing below, as well as the ingredients and the instructions to this video on how to make Guatemalan fried chicken. So let's get started. So the first step, and there's 2 steps to making this, you're going to be making the batter first, or like the marinade for it. And you can make this in advance. I've done this and actually fried it at the same time. You don't have to let it sit, but generally the longer that you let it sit, it tastes a little bit better and it actually sticks to the chicken itself. So today I'm using chicken legs. I have about 6 of them. You can use more or less. The batter's definitely sufficient enough to use for about probably like 8 or 10 pieces, but I just like my marinade to be like just enough to make sure that it's sticking to the chicken itself. So, but you can use other pieces of chicken. I forgot to tell you that. A whole chicken even works if you want that. It just depends on your taste. I just like the chicken drums or the legs because they don't dry out as much as some of the other pieces do. So, let's get started. I pre-measured out my spices and what I'm going to be needing for this marinade. So let's start. 1 cup of flour. You need 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And again, like I said, I'll put the list of ingredients because I'm not 100% sure. Some of the spices look like some of the other ones. So if I tell you the name of them, I'm probably going to be guessing wrong. So I'm just going to add the spices in here, the ones that I do know. Garlic powder, onion powder, there's some cumin, there's some paprika, some salt, there's some chicken consomme. You can use Knorr, Maggi, whatever you decide. Just depends on your taste. I like my batter to be flavorful, so I add generally like about 2 teaspoons of each one. You can add more or less, especially when it comes to the cayenne pepper that's added into this, because I don't know, like I said, I lived in Guatemala, so I'm used to the chili over there, and I like my stuff spicy. So, like I said, cayenne pepper, there's regular black pepper, there's curry powder. Like I said, you can add more or less, depends on your flavor. I like curry in general anyways. Santi, all-purpose seasonings. And basically all we're doing, we're just adding this in there. Take your whisk, mix all the dry ingredients first. And when those are all mixed up, basically all you're going to be doing for the marinade is adding in a little bit of water until it comes to like a paste. Now this is 1 cup, and I really don't think that's enough. So I would probably go with 2 as a general rule of thumb. Mix it and just see. You don't want it over watery. You don't want it over watery, but you don't want it too thick either. The idea is it's supposed to be, like I said, as a marinade. And this is perfectly fine. So once it's whisked up, my chicken was already cut. You'll see the consistency in it. I don't know if you can see or not. My hands are clean, by the way. It's not overly and it's not under either. If you find that you add a little bit too much water, don't fret. Just add a little bit more flour or add a little bit more cornstarch. It really doesn't matter. You're not going to mess it up. The idea is just to get the flavor of the spices in there and to marinate the chicken. So basically all you're doing after that, when the marinade's done, add your chicken in, throw it in. Doesn't matter which direction, how, and just use your hands. It doesn't matter if you're cooking for yourself or if you're cooking for somebody else. Throw some gloves on. Depends on your taste. This is for my family, so I generally don't use gloves, but yes, I wash my hands. So this step is done. This is the very first step, and like I said, I'm not going to be cooking this until afterwards. So I'm going to throw it in the fridge probably for, I don't know, a half a day, something like that. And we'll come back and I'll show you the second step of this video. Hi everyone, so we're ready for the second step of making the Guatemalan chicken. I have pre-measured out for the second part of the batter. This is just the dry coating. It's going to make it crispy. 2 cups of flour. I have 2 teaspoons of curry powder, 1 of salt, 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper. Again, if you don't like hot, you can plus or minus it. We have the cumin powder, 2 teaspoons of that as well, 2 teaspoons of onion and garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of santi all-purpose seasonings, and about a teaspoon of black pepper as well. So we'll be adding that all in. Again, I'll put ingredients on the bottom with the instructions. Mix your dry ingredients together. And that's going to be the second part of your batter before you start frying it. So my chicken has been sitting in the marinade for about a half a day. About a half a day. About 4, 5, 6 hours, something like that. And don't worry if when you open it up it looks a little bit watery. Just mix it again with your hands. So basically all you're going to be doing is taking the chicken. Make sure you do it one by one because it is something that is kind of messy and just makes it easier, I think, just to make sure that everything's coated really well. So like I said, just basically 1 piece of chicken, adding it into the flour mixture, covering it really well. If you're on this step, that means you're ready to start frying it. You should have your oil started on high. Usually, since my stock pot, I call it my oil pot, is about 4 to 6 quarts, I can only fit about probably 2 to 3 pieces of chicken in at a time. I also use my meat thermometer just to make sure that my chicken's cooked. It should be about 165, depending on the size of the chicken leg or chicken piece, as whatever it is that you want to use. In this case, my chicken legs. So if they're a little bit bigger, I would probably do about 170 on the meat thermometer just to make sure that it's really cooked. So I'm going to start frying these, and when I come back, I'll show you the finished product. Thank you. Everyone, so we're back now, and the chicken is all fried. Like I said, I have a 4 to 6 quart pot. It was hot oil, high heat, obviously. Could only put like about 3 pieces of chicken in at a time. So it took about roughly 20 to 30 minutes for each batch of chicken that I did. And like I said, obviously some of the bigger ones, they're going to take a little bit longer. Just use your meat thermometer and make sure it reads 165 for doneness. So this is the end result. This is what your chicken should look like. Thank you everyone, and I hope you enjoy my recipes. You can find the link to my website below, and I hope to see you soon. Bye. Please remember to like and comment below if you like my recipes. Thank you.